right. Good morning, everybody. I am so excited that so many have hopped on Power 30 this morning because it is going to be a good one. If you're catching the recording, you are going to love this. This morning, we did a little something different. We are having a guest speaker on our Power 30 from another team. She is a Diamond Ambassador with our company, and she is phenomenal. I met Sadie in August. I went to the very first Senior Gold Fly-In, and she was our Diamond trainer for that. So she brings so much to the table. And one of my favorite things that she talked to us about was finding our glimmer. And it was just something that was more in depth to finding our why. Anybody that's been on here with your health or your business, we want you to find your why. So it keeps you going. It helps you be consistent. When you stopped, you're able to pick it back up. And I love that this glimmer is just more in depth, more in detail, helps you connect to it even more. And so I reached out to Sadie about 2 weeks ago, asking if she could re explain that to me so that I could come and share it with my team. And she was like, I'll do you one better. I will do a call for you if you want. And I was like, heck yeah, that would be amazing. And it just literally, I've got chills right now because this is so unusual for me with network marketing. You guys know I have a past in it. And the way that we truly are a one plexus community is just another benefit to being with this company. And so I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to turn it over to Sadie. So Sadie Hershaway is going to be talking to you guys this morning. And Sadie, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much. I know I see so many faces on here I recognize. I see Kristen. There's Kristen. But some of the girls on here obviously have been a part of Senior Gold Fly-In. So if I don't know where you are in your business, I was just talking about this last night, but it is really something to work toward. Because that's going to be for most people your first time to be at corporate. And so I didn't get to go to corporate until I was the Jewels of Excellence or Jewel School or whatever we're calling it now. They didn't really offer anything. So I'm very vintage. I think Alita is probably, I don't know when she joined, but I actually went to my first Jewel School with Megan Milakovic. I don't know if anybody, I don't know how everybody's organized, but she already reached out to me this morning saying that um, she might be hopping on. So that's very exciting. But to the point of this is that when we were there, we really discussed, the emotional component behind the business. And you might be somebody that's like, I'm not emotional. I don't do emotions. I'm not, but you do. Okay. Because everything you do is sent through the filter of basically your circumstance is your circumstance, your thought is a thought you have about it, and that creates a feeling. And then it's going to determine your actions and the results that you get. So I'm not going to walk you through what's called the model. If you're interested in learning about that, I would have you, visit. It's called the Life Coach School. Brooke Castillo is absolutely amazing, but it's a model and how we walk through our thoughts. That's not what this call is. This call is about thinking, learning about your why and how it's impacting you. So I'm going to give you just a second. I want you to write down your why. And if you're like, I've done this before, I don't care. We're doing it. Okay. We're writing it down. And so the why is really what gets your feet moving, right? In this business, but it's more than that. It's basically why you said yes to the products too, right? There was a reason that you decided change was necessary. It's always tied back to an emotional component. Can it change? Yes. I don't know where everybody is in the business, but I will tell you that your initial why is always going to be relevant to you. It will always be relevant. You're never going to disconnect from that first version of yourself that said yes, ever. Okay. Unless we go through some kind of a very interesting transformation where you come away from yourself completely. No. Okay. You're always going to connect to that. So, the reason I want you as leaders, and if you're on this call, you're a leader. The reason I want you as leaders to understand your why. And by the way, your why was just, I want to be a better mom. I want to be a present mom. I want to take a load off financially for my husband, whatever that is. I can't fill in the blank for you. Okay. Very relevant and important. And the reason that you need to do this practice is because there's going to be a time when you're asking other people to do it. So in leadership, we never ask someone to do something we're unwilling to do ourselves because it doesn't translate well in network marketing. It simply does not. Okay. When you're telling everyone to do, things and you're in the chats and you're encouraging it and they don't see you doing it, it just doesn't take you as far as you could go. You need to be doing it. So I want you to figure out what your why is. And if somebody is willing, I would love to walk you through the why process, because what happens with the why is we break down the why. And if somebody will do this with me, I can show you, because once you see it modeled, you're able to do it to yourself, or you're able to work with a trusted advisor or a coach or your upline to do it. But what happens is that there is a why, but then there's a why behind that. Okay, why is that important? Okay, what does that mean? Okay, you know what I mean? And so it starts as like, I want to have more energy, right? And then it comes down to something a lot deeper. And really understanding that is going to allow you to vision cast so um, intentionally with your team. And that is very, very important. Oh, Nicole, we get to do it again. Yay. I'm ready. If you're ready, go ahead.
Yep, happy to. I
Okay.
just figured,
Yeah.
since I kind of know the drill, I think it's easier to be able to show everybody. So,
Yeah. Okay. So what would you call your why?
I would say my why is being able to provide just many more options for my family, not just financially, but obviously freedom. My husband wants to pursue his dreams, and he's not able to do that working for a company that he's helping to get rich. He wants to be the rich one. So in turn, it's a couple of reasons: financial freedom, time freedom, more opportunity.
Okay. And what does that really mean
More
for you?
options. Per, I think just really more options.
Okay.
Um, more of a paved path.
Mm-hmm. So what's causing you to have that emotional component to your why? Like there's been a feeling in the past
Hmm.
that has taken you the opposite of that direction. And so you're acting in your why, in the knowledge of your why, right? So how are you feeling before you had this gift of Plexus? Like what was your life like?
Completely stuck, stale, stagnant, going through the motions, barely paying bills, um, feeling like this is just how life is supposed to be. And it's truly the struggle. Like I think I was tired of struggling. I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired of feeling like life is just making the choices for me. It's like, no, I want to make those choices. I want to be the one that says, that's my decision if we're going to take this trip, not my bank account's decision.
Mhm, mhm. So what I want you guys to see is that she's always going to serve a mom, right? That's who she's really here for, right? By serving yourself in this moment, you're always going to serve women and men, right? I see a man on here. Hi, Chris. You're always going to be able to serve people who feel rendered useless in their financial situation. Do we see that? Right? So our why really is going to be able to connect us with the community that will always mean something to us to serve. Okay? Like here's an example of, an opposite example. Like I really got started to serve the autoimmune community because they really gaslight us. I don't know if any of you all are out there. Raise your hand if you're an autoimmune. We don't, everybody's like, you're fine, you're fine. And so I really, once I learned about the products, I was like, this is why I'm moving. Right. So yours is very much financial, but it can look a bunch of different ways. Does anyone else want to talk about their why and have us break this down? And then we'll talk about the glimmer, which is such a special little topic that I can't wait to talk about. Does anyone want to share? And you might cry.
I
It's okay.
can. Sorry, I had to
Okay.
walk away. My kids are playing hockey and fighting, so I
Okay.
had to walk
Hi,
away from
Amanda.
that a second. Hi. So for me, hearing you talk right now, I thought a lot of mine was wrapped around that like time freedom. And yes, I've done my why over and over and over again, which I love how it can change as well. But I also love how you said like your main root will always remain the same. I think it's the financial freedom. It's breaking that generational circle, robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's a
How
big
does it feel to rob Peter to pay Paul? What does it feel like?
safe, comfortable. Yeah, safe and comfortable, honestly. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the safety. Familiar. Yeah, Alicia, familiar.
So you're, but it isn't safe because
No.
does it bring a little discomfort with the robbing Peter to pay Paul feeling?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like, can you think of a time where it was like, that was it? You were like, you experienced something, you were like, that was it. That was your rock bottom and you forced yourself into action. Do you remember?
A few times. But I
Okay.
find myself constantly going back to that spot.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to share about a time?
Yeah, I mean, there was a time, I lived on my own for a while, and I mean, there was cents to my name in my bank account, like literally negative. Uh, and it was kind of like, all right, this is done. Like I'm done doing it this way. Like I have to make a change, and I did for a little bit, but then I fell back into that comfort. Now having a family, there's a little bit more of a push. I see a little bit more of a light. I see a bigger road. I see a bigger purpose. I have two schools as well. So there's more people that rely on me for certain things. I pay people. So like people rely on me to pay their bills. Um, and I keep telling myself, like, this is it. I'm done. This is it. Like my mom and I joke, we have a lottery ticket. Plexus is our lottery ticket. We're just not scratching it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So guys, be careful when you're willing to choose a familiar hell versus an uncomfortable risk. We feel that risk of that new choice. So you have to redefine and re-self-define yourself as, and I famously say this, like, let today be the day, Amanda. Like, I'm not like that. I don't do that anymore. Right? I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. Right? And so I want you to see that you are fighting for yourself with this why, right? And so what you've told me here, and this is why it's very important for you to constantly evaluate this and understand who you're serving is she said, I have responsibility to others, so I can't fall back into this. You guys, accountability is a real thing. Okay, accountability is a real thing, and your why helps you understand the community that you serve, who needs you, who you can't just go quietly into the night. You can't do it anymore, right? Right? Every time I wanted to stop sharing, or it would be easier to stop sharing, I'm like, but people need to know there's more, right? Nicole's like, women and men need to know that there is another way, right? Amanda's like, it's so easy for me to stay in my loop, but it would be remiss of me not to serve the people who've already said yes to me. Okay, very important. And Amanda, thank you so much. Nicole, thank you so much. Nicole knew the drill. So it maybe wasn't, because I think we got tears that first time, if I remember correctly. But she's well equipped. She knows how to give this story. So your why is very important. As I said, you're always going to connect to that first version of yourself. But here is what I want you to define. And this is where you're going to turn yourself into a leadership powerhouse. Your why is there. It's like that emotional, like, yes, like this is who I'm serving. This is what's important. I hit rock bottom. I'm not going to feel this way anymore. I don't identify with this past version of myself. But the glimmer was when something happened and you felt like, I can do this. So it's almost like this emotional, this whisper inside of you that you saw something in your perimeter that's like, yes, this is for me. I can do this. I can be good at this. I can learn this. I liken it to any time I ever like was on a job interview and I was hearing about something new and something would hit me, depending on the situation, of course. It's like, oh, no, I can do this. This is for me, right? And you've all had it. Perfect example, my glimmer was we used to get this magazine. Alita probably knows, maybe Megan knows. I don't know how long anybody else has been a part of everything, but we used to get this magazine and it was like it would come in your monthly order and it would talk about the business. And I remember there were these pictures of these diamonds and there weren't that many. I'm like, oh, I got this. I can do this. I could do this, right? I just felt like it pushed me into another gear. So why I feel like that's important is because you're going to help once you figure out your glimmer. Do you guys remember, raise your hand if you remember the first time something happened, some exposure to the company happened, some conversation with an upline, some diamond documentary, something, and you sat there like you wanted to do it and all of a sudden it felt like this is possible. I can do this. I'm equipped. Can you raise your hand if you kind of know what I'm saying? Does anybody remember their glimmer? Alicia, I know you know. Yes, she took a photo in the moment and she didn't even know what she was doing. And why it's so important for you to isolate these things is because I want you to remember that if you've had that even the people who come onto your team that might appear like they're struggling or unmotivated if they got started, baby, they've got the glimmer. I want you to help them isolate it. I want you to say, when did you feel like this was possible? When did you feel it? Right? I want to hear your story. Tell me when you felt like this was something you were willing to risk versus staying safe because you saw the evidence that you were going to be able to do it. Does anybody know their glimmer? Would anybody share their glimmer? I know y'all have had the glimmer if you're here on a Monday at 9:30. Y'all have had the glimmer, okay? When did you feel like, yes, Dee Dee?
Mine was being on a call with Alita and Cheryl and just talking personally about my situation. And Alita was like, and what if you could walk in that room and the judge said to you that he owes you back pay on your child support because you're making so much money now.
Woo!
And I was like, whoa.
Right? And she'll never forget it. And so I want you as leaders to understand how very important it is for you to help vision cast for your team. Alita didn't know that she was helping create a glimmer that day. She was just vision casting for her because she's walked farther than her in this business and she knows what's possible. But everybody who joins you right now, you've walked farther than them in this business. And you're able to walk them through this. And I want you, yes, she is. And I want you to understand that when you isolate your glimmer, you are now qualified to have this talk with literally anybody on your team. Okay, does anybody else have a glimmer that they want to share? I will call on you. I'm keeping my aggressiveness tucked in just because it's early on a Monday.
I will. My glimmer was when I told Alita, like, okay, I'm going to share because like, I have to. It literally has totally changed me and my motherhood. Of course, the child comes crying. And then I was like, but I don't know anybody that would do this with me. I had gotten so isolated. I didn't feel like I had many friends or anything like that. And then I had 3 people join me from just sharing my story. And it was like a moment, it's like, okay, okay, that wasn't that bad. I can literally do this.
So her brain was protecting her and trying to keep her safe and going, no, you don't know anybody. There's nobody, right? Like my story is okay, but it's not like everybody else's. And what she found in that moment through walking through the process, again, she was basically taken down the path of like, let's create the vision of who you could share with. All of a sudden, she's like, no, wait a second. no, I can do this. I do have people. My story does matter, right? And so I think it is so incredible that it's in these little minutia moments that really our inspiration is created, and it's just through our own human experience. Um, okay, I saw something in the chat. I want to see this. Oh, being on a leadership cruise without my husband or boys knowing. Yes. Yes. Where's Amanda? Wave. Oh, yeah. Okay. Exactly. So I want you to understand how important. Did you guys write down do you guys want a second to just write down your glimmer, or did it come to you right away? I don't know how that goes. It's usually the moment. It's a very critical moment. We isolate the why so much, but I've thought about it as I was getting ready for this content. I'm like, in August, I'm like, there's a critical point in which you turn into the most dangerous version of yourself, because you're like, oh, no, 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 I see it. I see it. I see the pathway. Nobody can tell me nothing, right? I've got this. I feel like, all the energy and all the frequency is conspiring in your favor, and everybody remembers that. So maybe later you guys can like have a little, challenge about this, and you guys can share it with each other, because I'm going to tell you something really important. The people that are running with you side by side are very they can hold up a mirror to your experience, and you can do the same thing for them. And that includes people that are going to join you. So isolating this, understanding what your why is, right? That I don't want to be broke. I don't want to feel bad. I got to show up. And we break that down and break that down. And really what it comes down to is presence, it's wellness, it's joy. There's some kind of a deeper root behind it. But the glimmer says, oh, no, 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 no. This is for you. You're equipped. I'm going to illuminate why this is going to be a success for you. And everyone remembers this moment. So maybe you guys can do a little something with it. And that's all I have. I know that this is like your morning call. I don't know if you need to do anything else this morning, but just really isolate this skill inside yourself, because you are here to create a ripple of change. Like you are here, like, yes, you're here for you. Yes, your why. Yes, your glimmer, but you are being used. Okay. And when we isolate why we're moving and what makes us think that we can do it, we're able to move more boldly, more intentionally. We're able to affect more people. Like my why started for autoimmune people. My why now is empowering women. Okay. And I have said that at all both the classes I've been in, very famously. If you see me posting, you know who I'm posting for. It's very clear, right? And so allowing yourself to move through that why is really, really important. But that glimmer, and you're going to keep getting glimmers, but that first glimmer is really special, because you need to help somebody else find their first glimmer. Okay.
Hey, anyone else have chills? Because I'm over here just chilled to the bone. And I got back from Canada and I'm like, I wasn't cold there the whole time. And now I've got chills and I'm like, what is even happening right now? I actually really needed this morning, and it's impactful because it reminds you. It's like, yeah, you go back to those times when you had a glimmer, when you didn't know. Listen, when Sadie and I started, and Megan, okay, Megan is a great example of needing the glimmer to know, and hers was so clear. But like, you don't know that you're going to be dying. You don't know
Right.
who's going to join your team. And I love that you say that. It's fear checks in and says, you don't know anybody. You don't know anybody who wants to build the business. You don't know. You start telling yourself that so much, you're illuminating that. You're attracting more of that. Whereas if you're thinking the thoughts of, I can do this, I absolutely am committed to this, I feel empowered and excited, then you call more of that in to your sphere, right? And so powerful, so many good things. I was literally just like throwing stuff in the chat as we're going, because I'm like, it's just so crazy. Alicia is a great example of getting a glimmer. Okay, told me forever, no, 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 I'm not going to do the business. 2 years waited, started the products, told me she was not going to do the business. Nicole the same way. And then they get a glimmer, right? I'm like, just post in your stories. Sometimes we think our job is to convince people And it
Mhm.
really isn't. It's you pour belief until they feel strong enough to do it. I remember my upline said, borrow my belief. Just borrow it. Borrow my belief until you, and I remember being like, I don't even know what that means, but okay. And I just did. I don't know what that means, but I did it. And when I got my first 3 people, that is a glimmer. Okay. When you go, someone go silver, they're glimmered. Something is glimmering and shiny and happening, right? And so a lot of times we want to give up on people because we don't see them taking action. They've just let the fear come in and they're not remembering the glimmer. It's like, go back to the glimmer. I love the question that you asked. And even Megan wrote it down in there too. What was that? I need to see what exactly the wording was, but it was really good. Like, tell me more about your first, like what did that feel like? Something like that. Where is that? I can't, do you know what I'm talking about, Sadie?
When did you feel
Well,
like this was possible?
Yes. Thank
yeah,
you.
because that's what it is. That's what it is. And for
Such a good question.
it's good.
Collaborate. Go ahead. Say what you were saying. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, that's really what the glimmer is. And it looks differently on everybody. Sometimes it takes them to have 3 people. Sometimes I had somebody just recently join me in the business and she told me all the things, right? I'm going to be bad at this. I'm this. I've been in this company. I said, so what does success look like for you? She's like, well, if I got 1 customer. I was like, no worries. We got this. Right. And so it comes down to like, that is going to be her glimmer. I can already tell because, and obviously she was inspired to act before, but that's a why, right? The glimmer is like, okay, this is when I feel like this is possible. This is when it can feel different than other things. So
I love that. I literally wrote it down in my notes, like in bold, all the things. When did you think it was possible? Because I think that is the ticket, right? Megan's was at convention, took her 5 months to go silver, sat in convention and said she would not return without being emerald and did it in 11 months. 5 months took her to get 3 people.
well,
I mean,
I went, so I don't know if you were on, she and I were at our first jewel school together. Did I say that when you were on here?
no,
Megan and I were.
I didn't know that.
Hmm. And
I
I remember meeting her, and I think she had a baby with her. I can't remember. I think.
She did.
Yep,
Yeah.
I had a baby. I always have a baby with me.
Yeah.
When in
Well,
doubt, just know she has a baby with her.
and I'm telling you, I don't know how everybody's like, but I've said this to her before. Like, I felt like she and I were very opposite the way that we just approached life. I mean, obviously, leadership, there are like tenets that we all like agree
Yeah.
with. But I remember meeting her. I'm like, she is just the cutest little thing I've ever seen in my whole life. She's so pure. Okay. And I'm like, oh my God, she's not. And then I'm thinking, like, she's nothing like you, whatever. And then that amazing summer that she had for her business, it was so inspiring. And here's another thing, this is totally unrelated to this content, but everyone in this business can teach you something.
Mhm.
Like 100%. Like, I think sometimes as human beings we want to be like, oh, I'm nothing like them, or it's a disqualification either for that person or for you, or you're pitting yourself. It's like, listen, this industry is the great equalizer. I mean, everybody has a gift that can be used. Everybody can be a ripple effect of change, and that's what we want to do. We want to inspire that in other people. And so anyway, I love that story of Megan because I think I told you that in Kona. I can't remember, but anyway, so
I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing to see what we can do when we believe it's possible. It's amazing to see what we can do when it's possible. I never thought single momming would be possible for me, right? You look at people's situations, you're like, I could never do that. It's like, well, when people would say that to me when I was widowed, I was like, yeah, well, I didn't want to. I wasn't like, hey, someone sign me up for a real hard time. I'm here
yeah,
for
literally.
no one does that, right? But you figure it out. And when you realize that this is possible, it doesn't matter your circumstances. Like my favorite meme is a soldier and he's missing his leg, and the quote says, people ask me how I'm so happy with one leg, and my response to them is, how come you're not as happy with both?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
figure it out. Figure it
Mm-hmm.
out. Like, but when you can grab onto that glimmer and know I can do this, it's like grabbing a hold of that. And that isn't that what success is. It's like, can you grab onto that glimmer? How much can you grab onto it and ride the
Ride
wave,
it.
ride the shine? I don't know how you want to say that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, so good, so powerful. And thank you so much for getting on here early on Monday, doing the thing.
I loved it. I might borrow this for this is a great idea. This is a good time.
Yeah, we just meet Monday through Thursday at 9:30 from 9:30 to 10 and just have a different speaker every day. With our
love
jewels, they share it and we share it and it's the best. I am so grateful. So it pours into us too, right? It's just really powerful. So I appreciate it so much. And
you for
Alicia, thanks
asking
for
me.
setting that up, you queen. I love it. Let's
Screen
go.
full of queens
We're
and
queens
kings.
and kings, yes.
All right. Bye,
Love it.
guys. Thank you so
Y'all.
much.